each other. And they drew 0-0. So it's been a stalemate all the way along. And now we need to separate these two sides. In Pool B, it was Netherlands and Belgium. Netherlands winning the pool, Belgium in second, and then Pool C, Scotland won that pool. And it was Germany who was second, which set up a scenario where you had to play quarterfinals. Australia beat Scotland 4-1 to get themselves a place in the semi-final versus England. England beat Ireland emphatically 6-0. And then the game coming up next is Netherlands versus Germany, which is always a classic encounter. Well, you know, England-Australia, always a classic encounter, but no love lost as well between Germany and the Netherlands when it comes to hockey. And it was the Netherlands who beat South Africa 3-1 to book their place in the semi. Germany beat Belgium 5-2. So it's Australia that play from left to right on your screen in their white change strips. England in their familiar red strip. Big hit comes in from the right to left. And top goal scorer in this division is Andreas Rieder from Germany with 10 goals. If you look at the top scorers from England, it's Balka Jawanda with 6. Two field goals and 3 penalty corners and 1 penalty stroke. And also, he's found himself on the score sheet on numerous occasions is David Knapp from England. 1 field goal, 2 penalty strokes. For Australia, the danger man is Greg Johnson. 4 goals in this tournament. 3 penalty corners and 1 penalty stroke. So the England side is captained through Mark Precious. And the Australian side, Greg Johnson skippers them. In goal today to start for Australia is Peter Mann. And in goal for England is James Felix. And it's England now who get into the 23-metre line area, the final quarter of Australian territory. And it's Mark Precious, the captain, who's been asked to restart again. Precious, who feeds it out wide to Dale Mullins. And you can see a back 3 for England. Neatly played out down the right-hand side, and they retain possession down this right-hand touchline to Alex Chiang. And Chang wins and goes with the self-pass, looking to induce a couple of players that weren't 5 meters and possibly get a penalty corner, and he does. So England on the offensive early on in this first quarter. And they've done well to make use of all that possession and get themselves an opportunity to get themselves first on the scoreboard. Ball comes out, stop comes in, shot, Peter Mann is there, and there's a deflection. And it looks like there was a deflection from the injector for England. And I'm trying to get a number. And the ball was played down to the baseline. Let's look at this replay. And he has played in a little diving deflection from the, I think it's the number 15, David Knapp. I said earlier, it was one of England's most prolific goal scorers at this tournament. And he gets down and deflects it beautifully into the net for the short corner variation. As I said earlier, he scored 1 field goal in 2 penalty strokes, and now he gets one from a short corner variation. And that's scores his 4th goal of the tournament, and what a time to score it in a semi-final of the World Cup. Neatly intercepted by Robinson, a little attempted overhead. And Australia look to keep possession and work their way back into this game. Australia on the turn through Paul Spencer. Timely intervention from Dale Mullins. But, pass is deemed dangerous. Greg Johnson, captain of Australia, works it down this near touchline. So over the baseline, and time for England to exit. And they're just slowing things down and playing into a very, very stiff breeze. And Paul Murray with a little ball in. Sorry, Mark Precious with a little ball over the defensive lines of Australia. Now the carry centrally. England come through Rod Naughty. Good interplay now. It's England on the top of the D and looking for a striker high to on that far post for a deflection. So Australia shocked into a 1-0 deficit early on in the match. And it's been England who have been the more dangerous, the ones with more possession in this game. Nice interception from Rod Naughty. And now it's Australia through Pestana. Pestana with a quick retake, finds a foot, keeps possession. And that's what Australia need. They need to just keep marching it up the field, keep it tight, keep it short, and look to make those connections. Now the blind pass for someone running on the wraparound is speculative and hopeful, and England win possession, but then cough it up, and it's Australia that will come back. Played centrally again and nicely defended by Rod Naughty. And it's Peter Jacob who ran through the middle. It's a little elbow to the nose and plays on. And it's Chang who tries to go down the byline. Australia stand resolute in defence. Jawanda gets things going for England. Into Precious. Again, it's Precious. And he can't win and get an outcome for Australia, and the breakout. Well, sorry, for England, and the breakout now for Australia. Possession too easily overturned in the midfield. And Knapp gets into the D. So wins a hit outside the circle. T. Too precious. A little bobble, awkward one at that. And now the ball gets played in, and players appealing for a corner. Saved under goalkeeper Martin. It's Peter Mann who got underneath him, and it was players on the line who fielded that off. Got it out wide to save Australia from conceding a second. Australia starting to push up a little higher, and they go through Kurmonde, who puts good pressure on the England defence. So going for a more aggressive, higher press are Australia. And they get themselves back into the game and get themselves some possession. And the disguised ball under the arm is intercepted. And David Knapp, too precious. It just seems to be players running in each other's channels at this stage, and for that England side down the left-hand side. So there's plenty of congestion when players are looking to outlet. And that's when unforced errors are made. But it's England, and go over the top into the breeze and play it over the baseline. Some teams quite happy to do that, and they might give possession up, but they can set up their defensive lines. Almost like indoor, when you give the ball away over the baseline and then set up that press. It's Australia that go for a little bit of a hit and hope, and so England win possession again. To Dal Mullins. Ball played through to McLeod, Andy McLeod, who's on the left. Well intercepted by Mark Precious. Great work back from him to win ball for England, and now intricate skills and looking to find a striker up high when maybe a midfielder was the better option. McLeod doing well to get back on defence as well, and reverse press and get in the way of ball and intercept and slow down any attack from Australia. Australia go long over the top, find their man up front, and now look for the corner, and it comes through Peter Crowe. And Peter Crowe gets Australia's first penalty corner. Nicely worked overhead. Gets it to the byline, works at byline so well. We just saw in the last semi-final, the over 35 semi-final where... Sorry, the over 40 semi-final where Australia just used that byline so well. And to win their game against New Zealand. And we're able to force 11 penalty corners, and most of them came from that byline. Ball gets fired in, saved off the line. Wow, turned around by Robin Sampson on the line for England. Just casually and neatly played down to fine leg. A little tickle round the corner. And England come through Dale Mullins to smash out ball, and it's not trapped, and Alex Chang's loses possession on the right-hand side. Peter Crowe. And well played from Andrew Bailey, who intercepts and moves it up and wins possession. It's England who lead Australia here in Cape Town, 1-0. And join us after the short break for the second quarter. We're back live here in Cape Town. The World Masters being hosted in Cape Town, South Africa. And it's the over 65 semi-final one. Two sides separated by a goal from David Knapp from a lovely deflection from a penalty corner. England 1-0 up. Their pool game ended in a 0-0 draw. Both of them were on top of their pool, separated through goal difference. So there's been precious little between these two sides in this World Cup competition. Australia with the wind at their backs, very strong southeaster that's picked up today. And playing into the wind hasn't seemed to affect the men in red. Australia go through Robinson, Brian Robinson, who's neatly plays over the top to Greg Johnson, the captain. Johnson does well to keep possession. And Australia have used their overhead now quite nicely down this right-hand side. A big cross comes in. Lovely take. Beautifully played. Through the legs to the far post. And what a save by James Felix in goal. Oh, it looked like a certain goal for Australia. Neat little ball through the legs to the far post. It was James Felix who stretched out to make a save, smother any ball, and now it goes to the byline again. England gather and play out. When it gets a timely deflection, and it'll be England ball on the touchline. And Robin Sampson just taps it in, and they can play from. The umpires asked them to go and actually play it from the sideline. Sampson again now on the ball. They go direct. A little smash down the line and they lose it. Australia would have loved a little bit of advantage. Robinson now on the ball for Australia. Still lots of pressure coming in from the Australian number 9, Paul Murray. There was a bit of pushing in the back, and England win ball. So Dale Mullins attempted to go long, and possession is lost again, and Robinson will restart. Robinson has been effective with that overhead. Ball one now. Self pass. And the cross comes in from Peter Crowe. Peter Crowe had the presence of mind to just give the self pass and go at England, and then try and get the cross into the circle, which doesn't find a stick. Now the interception, and the ball is won. And it's McLeod again down the left-hand side, who's now lost possession. Apologises for putting the ball away after the whistle, thinking that it was an England ball. And Jeff Robinson will get things going for Australia. Right to left overhead, that's good. It's over the press of England. England track back on the 45 angle. And unfortunately, the ball played dangerously into space or into players. England win ball. So it's been a better period of play for Australia. They've had more possession and opportunities in the second quarter as they work themselves back into this game, looking to get that vital equaliser. It's England who've been a little bit off the boil and defensive in this second quarter, not stringing enough passes together and making any meaningful sorties into Australian territory. And now there's a little bit of confusion of hand signals and who actually has possession. Australia will come away with it. Australia were a little chipped, but always difficult. The ball chipped and bobbled, and it's difficult to collect up front. It's Peter Crowe, who's been busy, has had a busy afternoon. He just couldn't collect on the bounce. Narod Nolte does well to win possession now, and England come out through Graham Jackson. He looks to recycle, and it's Rod Malty who goes again to McLeod, and McLeod on the turn, he's upended. Oh, I think he was looking for a penalty corner there. He was upended, but there was a bit of theatrics as well. Ball gets played in, and deflection is made, but a long corner one for England. So a better use of space in the final quarter for England. Now the turn from McLeod. Played in, but it finds a foot. Australia look to break out with a fast break of them. It's Crowe who's dropped deeper. So confusion in the midfield, and England now can win ball and go back at Australia. England thread through. It's into McLeod. McLeod works the byline just now, a little touch. And it's Mark Precious, the captain, who goes in for the deflection, falls on the Australian goalkeeper, and the Australian goalkeeper's not too happy with that. Peter Mann just says, well, actually, it's Martin Ferreira, who's on Ferrari, who's on now, and he took exception to Precious falling on him. He must remember that he has the padding. So tempers flare here in Cape Town. Semi-final time of the over 65 men's World Cup. Lovely run. McLeod gets it in, and now the 1-2 far post shot saved by Ferrari. He definitely fired up in goal. Martin Ferrari, what a save. It looked like England were going to register their second, as there was some great interplay in the circle between the England strikers. McLeod had done well to run that byline. Much better passage of play for England now as they work their way back into this second quarter after being somewhat on the back foot at the start of this quarter. It's all Australia. They were utilising space down the right-hand side. England go through Graham Jackson. Precious. Ball played high and won. England on the carry, hand in the back. Still, England go through the middle, through Andy McLeod. It's the final pass that's going astray. So under 5 minutes left in the second quarter. It's been on quite even, both sides creating chances. England creating some really good chances towards the end of this quarter. Australia having one or two good circle entries early on. Graham Jackson playing the pivot role. He's under pressure now. There's almost an interception. England scramble in defence. It's Precious, who's under immense pressure and clears his lines. England make the changes now, dropping Juanda into the midfield as they change personnel up front. Juanda, who has scored 6 goals, 2 field goals, 3 penalty corners and 1 penalty stroke in this World Cup, drops into this midfield area. And it's Gamal Kana, who carries and makes connection with Jawanda. The umpire says that hit the wrong side of his stick. So frustration for Jawanda, who connected well with Kana. England have brought on Peter Jacob up front, who leads the line for England. Kana again probes, comes off the left foot, changes the angle, the point of attack, finds a stick, and now the shot comes in. It's Ferrari who has to make another save as he's off balance and goes to ground, and almost seemed as if he was stranded. All it needed was the little pop over him, but he still manages to make a crucial save for Australia deep in the second quarter. Mullins. It's Mullins now. We'll restart. Naughty. Bailey. Baker Brian keeps ball for England now, looking for options through Jawanda. Australian Churches hold the angle, show some nice patience, just not flying in and making infringements and making it easy for England to retain that position. As I say that, a stick goes flying in and the umpire gives England some advantage. Graham Jackson now carries into space. Plays to left to right, lovely ball. And now it's Chang who sums up his options, beats one, beats or tries to beat the second. Looks for the obstruction, and umpire doesn't agree that it was an obstruction. Probably should have got something out of that. The umpire probably thought that he had lost control, so no obstruction. The umpires for this game, Tim Garner from South Africa and Freak Otto from Germany. So into the final seconds of the second quarter. It's been pretty even. As it's been difficult to separate these sides all through this tournament, even on points in the pools. A draw in the pool game, just goal difference that separated them from pool position. And now it's a very tight, close affair. England started well, scoring through David Knapp with the deflection on the far post from a penalty corner. So at half-time here in Cape Town, it's England 1, Australia 0 in this World Cup semi-final. Join us after the short half-time break.
We are waiting for you with open arms. We welcome you here. Cape Town will remain a city of hope and opportunity for everyone.
Cape Town is open, safe and ready to host you.
Masters hockey players, want to get selected and perform in national and international tournaments? My name is Lauren Penny, international hockey player and coach. And over the last 10 years, I've helped close to 1,000 hockey players to do just that. And now, I want to help you. So I've put together a free training video called The 4 Ways to Modernize Your Game, available at themodernhockeyplayer.com. Inside the video, you're going to discover how to stay competitive, confident and injury-free as you get older, so that you get selected and excel in national and international masters teams. Get instant access at themodernhockeyplayer.com.
So welcome back for the third quarter here in Cape Town. Match between England and Australia, the semi-final of the men's over 65 section. And it's England who will play with the wind at their backs. A strong, gusting southeaster here in Cape Town. And spare a thought for those athletes that ran the Cape Town Marathon this morning in these very windy and hot conditions. And thousands of athletes took to the streets of Cape Town to run the marathon this morning, ending at the DHL Stadium. Now it's England that go down the left-hand side through Kana, and there's a heavy tackle on him, and England win themselves a second corner. Well, they scored from their first one. A beautiful deflection from David Knapp. So at the top of the D for England, we have just one castle. It looks like it's the captain, Mark Precious. He's lining up to go for the straight strike and the upright hit. It's trapped, the shot comes in, it's high and dangerous. Well, still well played off the line. It's a little back foot cover drive off the line. So no variation this time for England. They go direct. But the unforced error make sure that Australia come out unscathed. So England, Dale Mullins with the restart. Plenty of white shirts around England strikers as they receive, as they form a little pocket around players. Getting eyes down now. The clumsy tackle comes in from Nolte. There's going to be a card. I think he just overcommitted there. Nothing really intentional. Overcommitted it and just couldn't stop himself. He'll go off for 2 minutes. We'll play it out now to Kermonde. Kermonde also under a bit of pressure now to make a decision, find a connection. He can only go back. Goes to Wood. Now Australia look to utilise the other side of the pitch, but there's a missed trap. And England win ball. Now a long ball, looking for a striker. Passes through everyone and a 16-yard hit. So tough conditions here. And Australia go over the top and nicely over the top, but just can't be collected. Frustration for Australia as they look to get themselves back into this game. So good crowds have come out here in South Africa to watch this hockey. We've had the over 35 semi-finals a little earlier today. And it was South Africa that'll meet Australia. South Africa beating England 2-1 in the over 40s semi-final. We also had Australia beating New Zealand. And here comes the turn for England. And a penalty corner one. A little push in the back and good turn. Finds a play at the top of the D. The nice turn comes in. Now we're going to see a variation now from England. It was Chang who received the ball at the top of the D. And he likes to carry, he likes to try and eliminate players. Looks like the captain is going to have another go. Fires one and fires home for England. And it looks like it's through. Balkat Jawanda with the direct hit for England. So the number 19. First I thought it was the captain that would take it, Mark Precious, but it's Jawanda who scores to make it 2-0 for England. Well, they've got good reward for their penalty corners. Scoring 2 out of 3. As England up the ante now. And it's through Chang, who carries again. Looks for support. Oh, Balkar Jawanda has had a good tournament. It's his 7th goal. He scored 3 or 4 now from penalty corners, 1 from a penalty stroke and 2 field goals. And he's starting to challenge for the top orders, top 3 position of goal scorers in this competition. It's Andreas Lieder from Germany, who has 10 goals. And he'll be up next in the other semi-final, Germany versus the Netherlands. So Balkar Jawanda with his 7th goal of this tournament. And it's Jawanda on the ball now, who plays it out nicely to backer Ryan. And things starting to get harder and harder for Australia as they have precious little possession at this stage and playing into a very, very strong breeze. I shouldn't say breeze, I should say a gusting high wind. Self-pass. Passes the ball, gone over the baseline. And Jawanda doesn't agree with him. Australia, everything to play for in this 3rd quarter, 7 minutes left. Have they got a plan? Now the ball just eludes Paul Murray in the midfield, and England come back at Australia. Lovely little turn. And it's Peter Jacob who turns so nicely. And the minute he turns, he cuts the Australian defender out. And it's David Campbell who will go to the sin bin for an infringement. And the first touch, so important. Baker Brian. Oh, a little touch from Howard, which Baker Brown wasn't too happy with because it was meant for the high-lying striker. A little bit of a words exchange between the players. I've got to remember they 2-0 up. And they need to stay together. So just over 5 minutes left. Ball into the midfield. First touch is heavy, and ball is still 1 for England. Precious now to Baker Brian. Tricky ball to deal with on the bounce. It's well dealt with by David Campbell for Australia. Now Australia trying to play fast, but can only play square as England flood the midfield and delay a forward run from their midfielders. So Russell Wood wins ball, and he will look long and direct, intercepted by England. Precious to Howard. Now back to Precious. His little blind pass goes astray. Australia go over the top. And, no connection made as Colin Howell runs shallow as the ball's played deep. Australia through Royal. Some heavy blows on the whistle now. The umpire should stop play and wants to have a chat. In doing so, speaking to Ferreira, just slow down everything and England can get back behind the ball. Always frustrating for players when that chat might have been taken place at the break or at another time during the game. Did it have to take place then and there when Australia could have played fast ball? High press from Australia. And they've got to do that to win ball, which they do. The cross comes in, top of the circle. Australia fight to get themselves a penalty corner. That's well worked. Higher press from Australia. They win the ball out wide and get it back into the top of the circle. The corner's won. And it's time to get back into the semi-final. It's Peter Crowe, who's had such a good game for Australia. He wins the corner for them. Now it's Campbell with a little zigzag attempt. Now it's off the cuff, wide, and it's the keeper from England, number 22, David Webb, who's on. Who rushes off his line, closing down angles. Many sides have alternated goalkeepers. Keepers have alternated halves or actual quarters. Charge down. Difficult ball, but in an area Australia will think they can win ball again, but neatly played and now lost again, and there must be a foot, and Howell's going to be sent off for a 2-minute breather for not getting 5 meters, intentionally playing the ball. So a little bit of frustration creeping into the proceedings here this afternoon. It's England that have had a very good third quarter, scoring through Balka Jawanda. And now they come back at Australia. It's the run, the turn, the twist from Andy McLeod, who's carried well today for England. Now it's to McLeod again. Now the ball's loose and, well, hooked out of the 9-yard area into touch by Australia. Precious plays back, and now it's Bailey. Carries to the high-lying area where it is Baker Bryan. Seconds left on the clock in this third quarter. England in control here in Cape Town. And that's the end of the third quarter. A goal from Balka Jawanda made it 2-0 through a penalty corner. England have scored 2 penalty corners in this game and find themselves 2-0 up going into the fourth quarter. Join us after the break. Welcome back to Western Province Cricket Club, the semi-final of the over 65 match between England and Australia. England 2-0 up. Australia need to throw everything now at England. Force this game to a 2-all result and into showdowns. And they've got to get up there and get a higher press going and put England under some sort of pressure. England with that two-goal cushion, just tapping it around the back, showing some patience, showing some composure. I'd be quite happy with the ball deep in Australian territory, with Australia to exit. So some confusion as some of the England players thought there was a long corner. Australia under lots of pressure. Get it down the line. And now it goes through Norman Same. It's tackled and England look long. And we go through. Knapp, the goal scorer. He's upended. And the ball gets played into the side netting. Well, good advantage from the keeper. McLeod had a chance after Knapp had been pushed over. This gets played into the side netting. And now it's Howard. It's Wingant, who arcs nicely and keeps possession and keeps pressure on Australia. Precious again. He has support coming from Baker Bryan, who drops deep for the recycle, and now will look to go long. He looks for Knapp, the goal scorer. Australia now pounce on lost ball from England. And England do well just to get possession back with a timely tackle through their skipper. Precious pulling the strings here for England in the midfield. Turn now, Bailey looks to connect, does he? He looks to get one back. But a penalty corner given. As it's Andy McLeod who turns, doesn't play it back to Bailey. He puts his head back and pins his ears back and says, I'm going on my own. Gets another corner for England. Fourth penalty corner. Scored 2 out of 3. Now it's the fourth one. Precious on the top, goes for the hit, comes off the pads and it's in. Well, Martin Ferrari with a bit of an unforced error, pads at the wrong angle. The ball is played off Precious, straight down the barrel. Gets a cruel deflection, and the captain scores for England. Let's have a look at it again. 3 out of 4 penalty corners scored by the men in red. Precious now with a shot. That was to be another earlier goal. It seems to be a goal in another match. Now, a run down the left from Gary Royal. England in control. They should be in a final tomorrow versus either Netherlands or Germany. Two formidable hockey countries in world hockey, Germany and the Netherlands. Here come the long ball, and it's just not collected. Cloud with a bit of work to do up front for England. Lyle Kenny now for Australia. It's Gary Royal. The carry from Peter Crow. And it's Paul Spence who's upended. Crow now takes it himself. Was England 5 meters? So Australia, with 8 minutes to go, 8.5 minutes to go, have a long corner. Looking to hit back. It's been all England in this fourth quarter. Very good control from them. Australia get another long corner. Circle entry and ball just to lose the striker. More frustration for Australia. A lovely little arc and turn, and that came from Rod Nolte. And played up high. And no one home. That means England just press up and sort their defensive lines out and ask Australia to march it 75 metres up the pitch. And there's the skipper, Mark Precious. Turns, play the other side of the field while they had Baker Bryan, who'd made a really good run. But it wasn't used, and England go down left. Australia trying to run it out at defence and into the midfield, and plenty of red shirts in the way. And it's slow ball for them. And the ball gets nicely played in field and then long, and again Crow looking for it high. Chang into space, eyes come up, looks to connect, and now the ball gets played in. And it just gets a little foot of Andrew Howard, who'd made a good run. He says he was some interference. The umpire doesn't agree, and Australia will try their luck at the other end of the pitch. There's a collision. Umpire says it's play on. Nothing untoward there. Now there is, and Australia have ball. And yeah, England not retreating 5 metres, and they've been penalised. Australia will have their third corner of the match. They didn't retreat 5, and some of the players who hadn't retreated 5 went in for the tackle rather than just trying to get out the way. So they concede a penalty corner with just over 4 minutes left in this fourth quarter. England 4 minutes away from a World Cup final in the over 65 division. So Australia will through Kenny now. He goes left, there to the near post. And I think it was Brian Robinson who was trying to get a little deflection on the forehand. Has the injector, which goes wide. Got a little deflection on the post, so it'll be that touch keeps Australia in England territory. Long corner played. So Lyle Kenny now looks for options. Australia still probing, looking for options, looking for a clear shot at goal, which comes in onto the 9-yard area. Crow can't gather, and England defend. Crow again, reverse stick attempt, and then the swat at the ball. England up equal to the challenge. Jacob turns. Chang always looks to eliminate. It was Gary Royal who did very well. Played out to Pastana. Pastana now trying to control in the midfield, trying to win a hit. And here comes Gang. And Precious. And Bailey. Jacob. Out to Baker Brian, and down work to the byline. The cross comes in. Now the rebound. And Baker Brian had made such a good run to the byline. Just needed someone to connect with to put the final nail in Australia's coffin. All smiles there on the England bench. They know the job's done. A final in Cape Town in 2024 for them. A chance to go back home as world champions. Chang beats one, beats two, looks to pass, finds support through Mark Precious. Now it's Baker Brian and the cross, and gets a little touch as both strikers are poised to trap and unleash another shot at Martin Ferrari in the Australian goal. England with a strong finish to this game. Australia threw everything at them. They were resolute in defence. 3 penalty corners scored. They only got 4, so what a success rate that is. Incredible to score 3 out of 4 penalty corners at any level. England working it up down the right channel. Nice control. And it's Peter Jacob holds on, wins a hit. And it's all over here at Western Province Cricket Club. The England supporters rise to their feet on the Adam Lacey stand. It's England that win this game 3-1 in Cape Town. Sorry, 3-0 in Cape Town. And secure themselves a spot in the final to be played tomorrow. First goal came through David Knapp from a penalty corner, a deflection on the near post. Second one through Balka Jawanda in the third quarter. And Mark Precious sealed it for England in the fourth quarter. The final score here in Cape Town.